Good evening. Welcome to the evening forecast discussion for January 19th, 2012. And we have quite a bit to talk about tonight. Tonight we're going to focus on two low pressure systems that will be impacting the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. The first one is approaching right now. It's a cold front, and we actually have some snow showers approaching the northern mid-Atlantic. Now, some of these snow showers are going to mix with rain because temperatures are just a little bit too warm. But you can see the dynamic nature of some of these snow showers, especially right along the cold front here. And it's a testament to just how strong the lifting is with this cold front as it's approaching the northern mid-Atlantic. In fact, you can see the cold air advection starting to take shape with some lake effect snow starting to develop over Lake Ontario that's going to intensify and build towards Oswego, New York, and portions of western New York, especially around Syracuse, Oswego, SUNY Oswego, my old college, up towards Watertown eventually, as the winds veer to the west and northwest and drive cold air over the very warm waters of Lake Ontario. And we're starting to see the same thing over Lake Erie as well for portions of Ohio, right around Cleveland, and of course around Buffalo. You can see some of this enhancement already starting to kick up. Now, as this cold front moves through, I expect scattered snow showers tonight. I'm not expecting much in the way of accumulation. We're talking about, for most locations, a dusting, maybe an inch. This type of snow shower right here, where you're getting some moderate to heavy snowfall in a brief period, could push snowfall totals to 2 inches, but that's going to be a very isolated event. If you're looking to, take a day off from school, this is not your event. It's not going to be that bad. There could be a delay just because the roads are a little bit slick. But other than that, really, it's not going to be that much of a big deal. Just snow showers moving through. It seems like a big deal because we really haven't had much of any type of winter weather since October. That's right, October. So let's take a look at some of the observations. And you can see where our cold front is. Ahead of the cold front, temperatures are in the mid-30s. And that's why there is some difficulty in producing all snow with some of these snow showers. But you can see that occurring over Connecticut, areas of light snow showers, northern New York around Poughkeepsie. We're seeing the same thing around central Pennsylvania. Not much in the way of rainfall, but because temperatures are still rather warm, I wouldn't be surprised if some rain mixes in with this snow. And then you can see cold air working in behind this. We drop from the upper 20s into the upper teens behind this cold front, and that's why we're going to see some lake effect snow developing behind this cold front as it's moving off. So that's the first cold front, and that's the first threat for some snow showers. It could be a few bursts of moderate snowfall, even maybe a very short period of heavy snowfall with some of these snow showers because of the cold dynamic air mass moving in. But there's something else brewing out here. Here we have this area low pressure, and now we have a lot of disturbances approaching from the Rockies because of a very strong, powerful storm over the Pacific Northwest, which I'm sure you've heard of. So this cold front blows through, high pressure builds in by tomorrow morning, and we get cold air build in, okay? Now, with this low pressure system tracking towards the Tennessee River Valley and intensifying as it does so, we should see a band of precipitation develop from the Tennessee River Valley on northeast through the Ohio River Valley and towards the northern mid-Atlantic. Now, this precipitation is going to be driven by warm air advection, which is basically warm air moving into a location, which happens to be the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. And that is a very key point. I'm going to use the NAM model guidance because it's the most aggressive model guidance when it comes to snowfall. And I'm going to do that to make a point here. First, we'll start zoomed out a little bit throughout the entire nation. We have the NAM model guidance, and here we are on Saturday morning. Now, notice that this disturbance is a bit strung out, but it does have some pockets of intensity. And then we have the polar jet stream here with a stronger jet stream diving down towards the Great Lakes. Now, because there really is a lack of blocking over the northern Atlantic, this high pressure system is shifting off towards the coastal waters of New England. And that's an important point because that means that winds are coming in from the east. In the meantime, we have our low pressure system approaching, And we do have a slug of moisture approaching and moving through the northern mid-Atlantic. Now, one key point here is that this isn't a situation where we have a ton of moisture with this low pressure system. Notice there's plenty of dry air sitting up over the Gulf of Mexico. This is a fast moving low pressure system that happens to be moving through at just the right time to produce snowfall for the region. As we move towards the afternoon hours, notice that our freezing line, our 540 line, is well to the north of New York City and Philadelphia, still straddling around portions of Connecticut and the southern Hudson River Valley in northeastern Pennsylvania to keep an all snow event in those locations, but most locations change over to rain. Why? Because there's no way to keep cold air in place because high pressure is shifting off the coast. And you're going to see the impacts of that in just a moment. Actually, let's do that right now. Let's go to the Eta, which is the smaller, shorter range NAM model guidance. I'm going to break down this time period, 45 hours, early Saturday morning. And note the key point here is that we have winds from the southeast at the surface, even on the aggressive NAM model guidance. Now, the models may not show this very well right now, but when you have a southeasterly wind coming off of the Atlantic, these temperatures tend to be a little bit warmer than what's being advertised. Not because the cold air is a weak air mass or whatever like that. The reason why is because you don't have anything to support to keep the cold air in place. If winds were coming from the northeast, where temperatures are around 4, 5, and 8 degrees, then that cold air would be funneled down the coast and counteract any type of warming influence from the Atlantic. But instead we have winds from the southeast and the east, and that means that this cold air can't stay in place, and this warmer air over the ocean is going to invade much easier, likely easier than what some model guidance is suggesting. Also, another key point here is that we do have a lot of dry air over portions of the Hudson River Valley in Connecticut. And I think that's going to limit the snowfall just a bit, just enough to create a little bit of virga. And then once the snow finally breaks through, warm air starts to move in as well. Another key point here is that at 500 millibars, the lifting here is, well, rather unorganized. This is clearly going to be an event where isotropic lifting is going to be the key factor here, which is basically warm air moving over cold air. And so when we look at the weather pattern overall, this is not a significant snowfall event, but one that we have to keep an eye on, that is for sure. And also I want to point out all the winds from 500 millibars down to, let's say, about 850 millibars are all from the southwest, quickly moving this low pressure system from southwest to northeast, from the Tennessee River Valley to the coastal waters of New Jersey. And as a result, we have a lot of this moisture with this low pressure system moving very quickly. By the time we move to Saturday morning, you could see the result of some of that warmer air trying to drive up towards the coast. Our freezing line starting to give way. Our winds continue from the east. And our rain snow line is starting to gradually move north. Also note that at the 850 millibar level, we have a very strong banding developing. Now, this is a key point for northeastern Pennsylvania and northwestern New Jersey. You see, because at this point, just a perfect timing, we have enough cold air in place combined with strong moisture advection and a strong thermal gradient setting up that there could be some bursts of heavier snowfall. And that's going to be a key component to the forecast. Now, this is highly subjective on the idea that this low pressure system is perfectly timed. If this low pressure system moves a little bit faster and a little bit further north, then we're looking at significantly less snowfall for the northwestern interior locations. Also, another key point here is that winds remain strongly from the southwest. And also we're starting to get a strong jet max at 850 millibars starting to develop over portions of West Virginia and Virginia. That's going to enhance some of the precipitation developing over the northern mid-Atlantic. So that's why we're starting to see this area of heavy precipitation. But by the time we get to the late morning hours, well, our temperatures continue to warm, slowly giving way into the 40s along the New Jersey coast. Temperatures remaining cold over the northern interior, where we have some of those valleys trapping that cold air. And also, by this point, low pressure system is starting to consolidate off the New Jersey coast, which allows some of these winds to turn to the northeast. At no time do I think that the snow is going to change over to rain over the northern interior, like northeastern Pennsylvania, northwestern New Jersey, and Connecticut. The primary limiting factor of snowfall with this low pressure system is just the speed that it's going to be moving out. I think, based on how strong these southwesterly winds are at 500 millibars, 700 millibars, and 850 millibars, that we're going to be dealing with a much faster low pressure system than what the model guidance is suggesting. And in fact, I think most of this precipitation is done and over with before 12 o'clock for much of the northern Mid-Atlantic. There might be a few scattered snow showers, but I think the steady snow ends quickly. And the reason why is because, well, what's going to stop this low pressure system from moving quickly with the lack of blocking in the northern Atlantic? Combine that with a strong jet streak at 700 millibars and 850 millibars, I think this moisture just rockets straight in and straight out. During the morning hours, that's when we're going to see the most of this snowfall, and then it kicks out. So that is my general thinking with this low pressure system. It's not an intense low pressure system. It's not a moisture loaded low pressure system. It just happens to be the first low pressure system that we have to actually produce accumulating snowfall since October, 29th. So here is my forecast for this storm. If you're in southern New Jersey and just south of Philadelphia, especially around let's say Millville, Atlantic City, Ocean City, Wildwood, Cape May, look for a trace to an inch of snow out of this event, especially at the very start of this storm as the snow moves in, and then that snow changes over to rain. A little bit further north over much of southeastern Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, central New Jersey, including Monmouth and northern Ocean County, Middlesex County, Mercer County, back through the New York City metropolitan area, Long Island, and extreme southern Connecticut. I expect anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of snow. Now, the snow is going to mix over to sleet and then gradually change over to rain in the late morning hours. Snow accumulations of 1 to 2 inches would be possible, but then that snow will be washed away in rainfall as we move on through the late morning hours. As you move north and west of the cities, especially over much of Connecticut, the southern Hudson River Valley, much of northwestern New Jersey, and portions of northeastern Pennsylvania like Allentown, Bethlehem, we're looking at anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of snow. Again, I'm kind of focusing on the heaviest snow just to the north and west because I think that's when the best dynamics continue to stay at play with this storm. Otherwise, what we'll be seeing is that as the low pressure system is exiting, the snow will start to weaken. Combined with the fact that temperatures will be warming, the snow ratio is going to be rising. So I'm expecting anywhere from 2 to 4 inches out of this storm in these locations. And then the jackpot area, which happens to be extreme northwest New Jersey, basically Sussex County, portions of northeastern Pennsylvania like Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Back Mountain, should I say, Hazleton, and as we zoom in just a little bit more, I also want to point out portions in New York around like Port Jervis, Middleton, Scotttown, Monticello. These locations I'm expecting anywhere from 3 to 6 inches of snow. Expecting late on Friday night, continuing on through Saturday morning, remaining all snow, and these locations will have the best potential for the most organized dynamics with this snowfall. So that is the forecast for this evening. That's where I think that this snow event is going as we move forward in time. I would not be surprised if most locations underperform with this storm, given how fast it's going to move. But the main reason why we're going to have the best chance for accumulating snowfall is because of the timing of this low pressure system and the cold air that's going to be in place ahead of it before the warm air overwhelms the entire region. Have a great night. Of course, I'll have the latest updates tomorrow morning on this storm in case anything happens to change. Stay safe out there. Have a good night.